for some gustier winds and a lot of hail too. I've been seeing some reports of hail just around Eldridge. We got a report of some pea-sized hail. Been getting some reports of pea and quarter-sized hail too with some of these storms. So that's something that's going to be a concern. We also have a tag on the severe thunderstorm warning that's near Viola, Woodhull, and Galva areas. You have that tag for a tornado possible, which means that that rotation is still being seen along the line, especially near I-80 and to the south. There is a little bit of a couplet I'm seeing near Alexis where we do have that warning that is tagged with a tornado possible. Right here is where we see a little more of that rotation. But right now, the rotation that we are more of a concern of is going to be in that tornado warning that is starting to push just to the east of Orion. So if you are in Orion, Osco, Andover, please make sure you are in your safe place. Again, right here along that line where you see those reds and greens kind of colliding, that's where we see that capability of some tighter rotation to occur and maybe even seeing a brief spin up. Also seeing a little bit of rotation here too, just to the south and west of Andover. So again, Andover and Osco, please make sure you're in your safe place. Eventually going to push into Cambridge and Geneseo here in the next 15 minutes or so. Here's a look at the newest scan. So again, that area that I was just circling, definitely a look at a tighter rotation there. Here's a live look right now from Galesburg, Illinois, where they are seeing quite a bit of thunderstorm activity begin to push into the area. You are not considered in that severe thunderstorm warning with the tag of a tornado possible, but you are definitely in the outlines of it. So I would say treat it like you are in that severe thunderstorm warning and make sure that you do have that safe place kind of on guard and make sure that you are able to get there quite quickly. Again, so Galesburg, you are just to the south, but you have quite a bit of severe thunderstorm warnings happening around you. The reason why you are not issued in this is because Galesburg is, you are in the territory of the Lincoln National Weather Service, so they are the ones who are going to issue those warnings, and the rest of us are being issued by the National Weather Service here closer to home. Just making sure that we're not getting any more updates when it comes to some of these severe thunderstorm warnings. Mercer County, Illinois, it looks like you are all clear, so that is including Aledo. It looks like you are in the clear. They have moved you out of the severe thunderstorm warning and the tornado warning. But we are still seeing quite a bit of tornado warnings, or a tornado warning and quite a bit severe thunderstorm warnings continue to advance into the area. Again, definitely seeing the capability of some hail. So here is a look at that hail size tracker, bringing it a lot closer, again, near Andover and Osco, where we do have that concern for some rotation. Also seeing a lot of concern with some larger hail. You can see getting into that green area, that's going to be some hail size up to around 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Quite a bit of hail along this line as well. But that's definitely the largest hail that we're seeing right now being picked up for our hometowns. A couple of areas could be seeing hail near Monmouth, Alexis, picking up around 1/2 inch. Also for some hometowns up near Thompson and just to the east of Clinton, mainly in Fulton, Illinois. So definitely some hail, some gustier winds definitely could be seen, but right now we have been most concerned about some of those rotating clouds that could produce maybe a tornado, but also definitely some larger hail. And we have been getting some hail reports from areas. I've seen a hail report from Eldridge, about pea-sized, also seeing some reports in northern Missouri as it was making its pass through of about 1/4 sized. As well. All right, this is a look at some hail in Sherrard. That looks a little bit more, I would say 1/4 size, maybe a little bit bigger than 1/4 sized, but still some decent hail there. Yeah, it's definitely a concern with these storms. So this is a look at Sherrard as these storms continue to push through. But of course, we're still really concerned about that tornado warning. And again, where we kind of are looking if we get a little bit closer to, you know, street level. And when it comes to looking at these notches, where we do see that concern is kind of where you see these little imperfections along that line, especially just to the east of Orion. You see that notch a little bit more. This area could be definitely of concern to see maybe a brief spin up. So areas like Osco definitely need to be in your safe place. If you know somebody who is in that area, make sure that they are well aware that they do have severe weather that's getting very close and on their way. But this is going to continue to push off to the north and east just slightly. But still, quite a few of our hometowns are still within this tornado warning and need to be on guard. Like areas like Geneseo, again, this is kind of pushing off to the north and east, but Geneseo getting quite a bit of rain, also quite a bit of lightning within the system. Andover, you are in this tornado warning in Cambridge too, still going to see, you know, the possibility of a spin up in these areas as well. So you definitely want to take your safe place. The Storm Track 8 app and the WQAD News 8 app are both extremely handy to have during severe weather, as they will issue you or bring you those warnings to your area whenever you find yourself in a warning. And I will say it is one of the first apps that will notify me if I am in one of these severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings. Okay, so now we are seeing Galesburg also issued a severe thunderstorm warning along with this line. Again, right now we've just been getting quite a few good gusts of wind out of this, but also definitely seeing some larger hail out of the system as well. That sound that you keep on hearing in the background, that is my weather radio giving me updates as we do get some new warnings issued. So we just got a new warning issued. This is including Carroll, Stevenson, and Whiteside counties off to the north, where we have been tracking that line that has had the capability of producing some pretty good sized hail too, especially near Thompson. Let's throw that hail size tracker up there. Yeah, we still have that hail of about 1/2 inch to 1 inch on that hail size tracker, but the hail probability is also a good indicator of where we could see some of that hail begin to fall from the sky. And definitely seeing some purples on the map there too, getting a little bit closer. If you're anywhere between Thompson and Mount Carroll, could definitely start to see some hail pop up here any minute. But still, a lot of hail too being picked up just to the north of Osco. That's a pretty significant core right there being picked up of the possibility of hail. So those purples are extreme. Doesn't mean that hail is falling there, but it definitely means that we have the height there and that we're seeing that increasing chance that some larger size hail could definitely fall from the sky there. But let's throw the hail size tracker up there. Yeah, definitely is still coordinating with that extreme chance. You can see how large that core is, getting up to around 1 inch to larger, just between Orion and Osco. Again, I would say Orion, you're almost in the clear here. Alexis also seeing some signatures of some hail also being picked up. So we'll keep an eye out on the hail, but again, we do want to pay close attention to the velocity because we do have a couple of notches being picked up on velocity, and that's why we are seeing that tornado warning issued for areas just now pushing through Osco, but eventually going to make its way into just north of Cambridge. It looks like Cambridge and Andover, you actually cut out of the tornado warning, which doesn't surprise me with how the system is kind of pushing more off to the north and east. But still, areas like Geneseo and Atkinson, you're still included in this tornado warning, and you want to stay weather aware as well. Okay, so we're getting another severe thunderstorm warning. I think this one is just reformatting to really reiterate that hail threat, I think. But again, hail and a tornado right now are going to be the main concerns with this line pushing through. So let's push on the radar just to see where this is moving through. Osco, you're very, very close to being called all clear. Again, this kind of leading edge is where we usually see the most concern with potentially getting a brief spin up or maybe even some hail or some damaging winds. So again, that leading edge, I always kind of like to say it's more so where we could see some more of that significant weather, but definitely want to stay in your safe place until all is said and done. So let's take a look now at areas south of I-80 where we do have some severe thunderstorm warnings, even a severe thunderstorm warning right here, including Viola. Let's see if we can get this one to pull up. think, yes, this one has the tornado possible tag on it. You see that kind of brighter outline. Just means that there is some rotation within the storm, and that we're watching it closely just to make sure we don't need to upgrade this to maybe a tornado warning. But yeah, there is still definitely some really broad rotation being picked up within this line that I can see from velocity on both signatures, and you can kind of see where we see the mixing of those reds and greens. That's definitely indicating that we do have some rotation along that leading edge that's starting to push through, especially near I-74 as well. But still quite a lot of warnings going on, so let's kind of go through each warning. Pushing all the way down to Roseville, although Roseville, I think you are in the all clear. Monmouth, I also think you are in the all clear. Galesburg, you're very, very close to seeing some thunderstorm activity, but again, you might get a little lucky that it might just slide, you know, right past to your north and east, because this is kind of pushing right off to the north and east. Here's a look at Galesburg. No surprise there. We got some pretty dark skies looking out there. I'm just taking a quick look, but we can keep this image up there just to make sure that we don't have any hail that's maybe coming in. But again, a lot of dark skies, so probably going to see some gusty winds and some pretty heavy rainfall here as it pushes into Galesburg. But still seeing a little bit of hail picked up just to the north of Galesburg near Alexis, Illinois, is where we do see the probability of hail being picked up on that hail size tracker. And again, speaking of hail, still seeing quite a good core seen just around Orion, Cambridge, and just south of Geneseo too, with some hail size that's potentially up to around an inch in diameter. So definitely some hail for sure being a possibility here. Oh, there it is. There's a nice look at some of those storms also coming in, as still looking outside from Galesburg, Illinois right now. This is a live picture, but getting very close. And again, Galesburg, you are in a severe thunderstorm warning, more so of those concerns of some pretty gusty winds and some hail that could be seen. So the storm warned in Mercer that we have been tracking, specifically the one that is tornado warned right now. We might be getting a little bit of good news there with the velocity maybe broadening out a little bit and what we call the outflow of the storm kind of taking over, which that's definitely happens with some of these storms. But we'll continue to watch them closely. That just means that once it taps into some of this energy too, it really begins to become more so of a damaging wind threat. So that's kind of what I think we're starting to see here. But still some dark skies, so Galesburg, get ready to experience some heavy rain, some breezy winds, definitely some lightning. There's quite a bit of lightning within the system too, as we watch this closely. Henderson, you're just north of Galesburg too, about to get some pretty heavy rain as well. Woodhull is starting to push into those areas. Still, the only tornado warning that we are seeing is still in effect, but we'll have to watch this closely. If that rotation continues to broaden with the next couple of scans, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they do, if the National Weather Service maybe would expire this warning, but of course we're going to watch this closely, making sure that I didn't miss anything of reports from the National Weather Service when it comes to any hail, because they've definitely been getting some hail reports of up to pea-sized and quarter-sized hail. Pea-sized hail near Eldridge, getting some quarter-sized hail, especially down to the south. And right now, Geneseo, you're kind of in that hail core that's been shifting as well. Where is this from? Oh, that is from Orion. That is no surprise there. So yeah, I was just taking a look now at the probability of hail and seeing that core kind of push into Geneseo. So this is that same hail core. Ooh, that's about ping pong ball sized hail. That's about 1.5 inches, it looks like. Thank you for sending in your photos. We definitely want to see your photos. So if you do get anything from this storm, keep sending them in. I would love to share some during the evening newscasts as well, especially once all these storms are said and done, because once this line does push through, I would not be surprised if we can really call the all clear. Again, this is kind of the main event here. We do have a tornado watch issued for all our hometowns, and that's issued until 8 p.m. this evening. Now, I don't think our hometowns need to stay on guard until 8 p.m. this evening. Again, it's happening right now, and then it'll take its time to push across the northern parts of Illinois. Okay, now we have a storm report from Geneseo, and this does not surprise me either, getting 3/4 of an inch sized hail, seeing a report from a spotter there. That doesn't surprise me at all, especially from what we were seeing right now on scans just around Geneseo. You can see those colors kind of starting to hug more towards that yellow-green, so that's getting up to around 1 inch to 1.5 inches. So definitely no surprise there. But yeah, definitely some hail to be concerned with that storm that's pushing through Geneseo and Cambridge too right now. It still has the tornado warning issued with it, but again, we've been seeing some that velocity kind of begin to broaden a little bit, instead of it being so imperfect with those notches, kind of starting to see that sharper line there between the greens and the reds. So the reds is away from radar and the greens is going to be toward radar. So again, we're not seeing all those notches that we were just seeing. So what we call the outflow of the storm. So when you start to get those storms to come in and you get that gust of wind, that kind of starts to take over, and it can definitely broaden that rotation a little bit more, and it kind of takes away from that threat. But of course, the threat is still there. We have been getting a lot of energy here into the afternoon. So that's not to say that we could start to see maybe a little bit of those notches begin to happen again, and we could get a brief spin up here. But of course, that's something that we're going to continue to keep a close eye out on. Yeah, also seeing that report of about that ping pong ball to golf ball sized hail in Orion. Here's another look at the velocity signature. This is looking at storm relative velocity. It's just a different look that can kind of show us maybe where a little bit more rotation is happening. And again, I'm kind of seeing it a little more of that straighter line, not seeing the imperfections on it. So that is some good news there. But of course, we're going to stay on with you until we do see that threat of any tornadoes definitely not become too much of a concern. Let's take a look at the storm energy. Of course, there's a lot sitting on the more so Illinois side. So where you see those storms, we've been saying that Galesburg, you've been starting to see some storms, Woodhull as well, Kewaunee, Geneseo, Sterling very soon going to see it. You can kind of see those brighter oranges, so that's some higher storm energy that we're working with. If you're on the Iowa side of the Mississippi River, you are all clear. I'm really not concerned of any more storms happening as we head into the afternoon or the rest of your evening. But of course, I'm going to keep a close eye out on it in case of any post-frontal activity does happen. But this is kind of our main event that's starting to push through. And there it is. I was not surprised at all. We did get that tornado watch to be cut back for our Iowa hometowns for the most part, from Des Moines. This is also including some of our Illinois hometowns too. But in Iowa, Des Moines, Henry, Jackson, Lee, Louisa, and Muscatine counties all are no longer in that tornado watch. Again, I do think you are all clear, and we're likely going to see that same trend towards the north, more so including the Scott, Clinton, and Jackson counties. But Hancock and Henderson County also no longer in that tornado watch. Let's see if that is registering on that graphic so we can kind of get a better idea. But again, so this is the main event, and that just kind of reiterated for me. So again, Muscatine, you're all clear. Mount Pleasant, Burlington, you're all clear. New Boston, don't have to worry about it. And we're likely going to see that trend continue to kind of chip back the tornado watch a little bit more and more as we get into the next hour or so, and we'll be able to call the all clear. And we are getting some of those severe thunderstorm warnings to expire from the National Weather Service, so still a couple going on. We have Woodhull starting to kind of get the thick of it. Cambridge, you're kind of beginning to get that leading edge to push in. Henderson, and again, Galesburg, I was wondering if you were going to get slightly touched, and you are just to the north as it kind of trims right past you. Good news there, but let's take a look at the hail, which is kind of more so that threat for a lot of these severe thunderstorm warnings right now. Definitely could see some hail near Henderson and Galesburg up to around 1/2 inch. If you do get any hail and it's safe for you and you want to go take a picture, hey, feel free to send them to us. You can send them using through our Facebook pages, or you can also text us. If I can find the number, I could definitely show that a lot quicker of where you can send some of those pictures. Oh, we actually have some hail in Geneseo. There it is. Another severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, so that's about a little bit larger than a quarter for sure, maybe a little smaller than a ping pong ball, but definitely some hail, and that is no surprise there from what we've been seeing on that hail tracker so far. I do want to take a look at velocity again. It's been a couple scans since we have been taking a look at it, and we have been seeing, this kind of broaden is kind of what we like to say, or maybe even, I don't know, elongate a little bit more. We kind of look for those notches along the line for those storms to come in, and so far we have been seeing a lot of that go away. I don't know what is going on. All right, let's take a look and reset here. Get back to radar images. There we are. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning off in the north, pushing just through Fulton, but getting to Morrison, getting into Shannon, and then all the way off to the north to Freeport. And again, more so hail, it looks like, has been the main concern with a lot of these. But we still do have a tornado warning going on, but I did want to show the velocity. Okay, so the velocity signature, again, not really seeing too many notches, but still enough there that I think that tornado warning is the reason why they're going to keep it in place for now and let it maybe expire on its own. Maybe a couple of imperfections being picked up on that velocity signature that would keep that tornado warning in place. But other than that, we're definitely getting some hail, and we are definitely getting some heavy rain and some lightning with these storms. So as long as that tornado warning does expire at 4 o'clock, that hopefully we can start to see things calm down and we can take you back to programming. But for right now, we're going to stay on and keep you updated. Again, we're getting an official report now to the National Weather Service. Again, that one that we were seeing from Orion, that hail, they're getting that report and calling it golf ball sized hail. So that's about 1.5 inches to 1 3/4 inches. So that's some pretty large hail. So if you are anywhere in, let's throw the hail probability, near Geneseo, if you are in Hopewell, Atkinson, Anawan, maybe throw the car in the garage or get it somewhere safe really quickly if you don't want to have any hail damage to your cars. That's definitely where we see the strongest threat for some larger hail so far. And yeah, we're still getting some reports about some pretty large hail going on in Geneseo, maybe of golf ball size. So definitely, hopefully that you got your car to a safe place, and don't go outside in this either. That's not safe. But so far, that is the main threat. We still have that tornado warning. We haven't gotten any updates on if they're going to cancel that sooner, but I think that maybe they're just going to let it ride itself out. It is going to expire in about 10 minutes, but we will watch it closely. Again, the velocity signature as of lately, we're still getting a little bit of rotation here and there, but it's definitely not as extreme along this line as we were just seeing it. But I do want to point out an area of concern now with the latest scans. Kind of right here is potentially where we could see maybe a spin up, maybe a little bit of that strengthening of some rotation. So this is just to the in between Atkinson and Geneseo. So if you are in between Atkinson and Geneseo, if you're not already in your safe place, please be in your safe place now. That warning is still in that area. It is set to expire in 10 minutes, but if this area does continue to kind of strengthen with the next couple of scans, we honestly might get a little an extension to that warning. So we will keep a close eye out on that as well. And we're getting a lot of reports. Actually, meteorologist Andrew Stutsky just sent his own report. He had quarter-sized hail in Geneseo. This is a look at Orion, again, reporting ping pong ball to golf ball sized hail. So that's what we're seeing that went through Geneseo too, that same storm. So that hail core is now pushing towards Hopewell. So Hopewell, you could be the ones next to start to see some hail that's pretty large in size too. Again, we're getting reports up to golf ball sized hail with this core. So I would move the car inside, hopefully, if you can. But again, that's also the same area that we're seeing that rotation. So that's kind of where we're seeing that storm begin to strengthen maybe a little bit more. But we'll keep a close eye out on it. So far, we haven't gotten any reports that they're going to extend that tornado warning, but we are going to watch it very closely in case they do, because it is set to expire here in the next 10 minutes. Let's take a look at the couple of other areas. So Galesburg, you're basically all clear. Henderson, you're all clear as well. Woodhull, I'd say you're all clear too. Still seeing some severe thunderstorm warnings pushing towards Oneida, Altona, Bishop Hill, starting to see some activity. Galva, you're going to be next here soon. Cambridge, still seeing a little bit of activity. You're still included in that severe thunderstorm warning. Atkinson, you're in that tornado warning too. And again, that area of rotation, it is just to the north and west of you, kind of towards areas like Hopewell, where we also see that hail core also pretty strong too. So again, hail and a little bit of rotation right now is definitely the concern that we are seeing so far. A tornado tag is on this severe thunderstorm warning off to the north. Just around Carroll County and in Whiteside County, pushing into just to the, not really in Joe Daviess County, it actually was expired for there. But again, we're seeing this for Whiteside and Carroll counties and then pushing into Stevenson. But Lanark, you're kind of getting the brunt of it. Milledgeville, you're about to start to see that line push into the area. They have the tag on there because it means that they are seeing a little bit of rotation. So there's a velocity signature. Yeah, it's a little bit more not as organized off to the north, and definitely some gusty winds if we throw on this signature. You can see it's a lot brighter in colors. It's not as deep red. When we start to see those colors kind of push towards that more orangey yellow range, it's definitely some faster winds that we're seeing, but it's still definitely a couple of notches, which makes sense why they do have that tag on there. But let's go down to Geneseo area, Atkinson, where we also see a couple of notches. And again, it is starting to become a little bit more unorganized, maybe tapping into some of that storm energy that's been sitting around for the past couple of hours as we have tracked in a lot of these storms. But very soon we'll be able to call the all clear for everyone, and then we're likely going to see that tornado watch that has been issued. That tornado watch that has been issued is going to start to trim back even more. So a lot of areas on the Iowa side, you're basically in the all clear. Henderson County, you have also kind of been trimmed back from that tornado watch. So we're likely going to see it trimmed back in chunks here over the next couple of hours as these storms make itself or advances itself more towards Chicago over the next several hours. So here's a loop so we can see where this line is continuing to progress and how it's kind of tapped into a lot of the storm energy. Again, a lot of cloud clearing that we've been seeing off in Illinois over the past couple of hours and kind of tapped in and blossomed here. But now it's really situated on the Illinois side of the Mississippi River, and we really don't have much activity out to our west, so that's why I'm more so confident to call the all clear for a lot of our areas on the Iowa side of the Mississippi River. So this is really the main event that we've been tracking for today. And again, there's a look at that tornado watch, but let's get a look back onto radar as these storms are continuing to progress off to the east and northeast. Again, we still have that tornado warning that's pushed through Orion, Osco, pushing into Geneseo and Atkinson. You're kind of all in that main event, except Orion, you're in the all clear, it looks like. Osco also about to be in the all clear. But we still do have that tornado warning in effect. That leading edge is kind of more towards Atkinson, so we'll keep a close eye out on it. It is set to expire here in the next 5 minutes or so. But again, another major concern that we've been seeing is some hail, although this hail core is starting to look a little bit less dramatic. But the hail size probability is still probably up there. Yeah. So this is pushing into Hopewell, so I would say, if not now, Hopewell about to see maybe some larger hail. And again, with this same storm and this same hail core that's pushed through Orion and Geneseo, both those areas have been getting hail size reports of up to a golf ball size in hail. So yeah, we just got another report of golf ball sized hail in Orion. All right, so it looks like we have another tornado warning issued for Carroll and Whiteside counties. Let's take a look at this warning right now. off to the north of us, which again, we were just kind of looking at that velocity signature. So that also doesn't surprise me when we were taking a look at those areas off to the north. There's that tornado warning. So this is including Morrison. Morrison, please be in your safe place if you are not already. Areas like Sterling need to be on guard. We're likely going to see this storm push through very soon. But again, this area right here is where it's starting to push in. Coletta also going to slide past you. You're in that tornado warning too. But Sterling, it's about 15 minutes. So this is your 15-minute heads up. Please be sure you are in your safe place right now. Again, that's going to be the lowest level of your home or building, or also going to be the interior most part of your home or building. And there is a pretty defined couplet. Again, this is probably one of the more defined couplets that we've been seeing so far for the past couple of hours pushing through Morrison. This is traveling off to the north and east. So Morrison, please make sure that you are in your safe place. Again, we can see this on radar, but we don't know what's happening right now live on the ground. We have to wait for somebody to be able to continue to confirm and spot those kinds of things if you're a trained spotter. But here's a live look right now from Clinton, Iowa, as those storms right now have basically pushed off to the Illinois side of the Mississippi. So Clinton is in the all clear, so we are getting a look at the backside of this system that's starting to push in or push away from Clinton. But again, Morrison right now is definitely the area of concern with that couplet that is being picked up on the velocity signature. So let's start radar back up. Again, so this is kind of right over Morrison. So please make sure you're in your safe place. If you are anywhere near Morrison and you are pushing towards the east, please make sure you are in your safe place as well. So let's throw on another time. Again, 15 minutes to Sterling. That's when we're looking for that storm to make its way towards there. So again, if this couplet continues to stay strengthening, if you are anywhere near Morrison to Sterling, please be sure that you are in your safe place. But a lot of these areas also getting some hail. That's also been a concern, which no surprise there, where we do see that rotation. You also see that capability of producing hail of up to 1/2 inch to maybe 1 inch in diameter too. But also getting some stronger signatures actually of hail down near Oneida, where we also have a couple more severe thunderstorm warnings too. Even with this one, you can see the greens being picked up on the map. That could be pushing some hail up to 2 inches in diameter. So also be sure to be on the lookout there, though, for there, because we could likely see this continue to push off to Altona and then eventually to Galva as well. But let's throw on radar. Again, Galva, that leading edge is kind of starting to get to you. Again, hail is definitely going to be the main concern if you do find yourself in one of these severe thunderstorm warnings. But of course, we're also concerned for a couple of brief spin-ups here, like we've been seeing with that tornado warning that is off to the north, and that is including parts of Carroll and Whiteside counties. Let's take a look at that hail core that's just near Hopewell. Again, haven't seen that moved much, but we'll have to wait for the latest scan. Also seeing, again, there's that hail core near Morrison where we do see that concern for a spin-up. And again, there is that, that velocity signature showing where that tornado warning is. Just got an update. It's still hovering just to the east of Morrison right now. So please be sure if you're in your safe place, if you are anywhere near Morrison, looking on, if you're north of Highway 30 near Morrison, please make sure that you are in your safe place, and in Sterling. Sterling, you're also in this tornado warning. But again, a lot of these storms have been moving off to the north and east. So if this couplet continues to follow that trend, it could slide just to the north of Sterling. Here's a look at Prophetstown, so a little bit closer to the area that we are a little bit more concerned about. Definitely getting some dark skies out there. Okay, so Morrison, you have been taken out of the tornado warning, excuse me. But yeah, near Prophetstown, you are in a severe thunderstorm warning. Definitely seeing some heavy rainfall and some lightning, but we've also been concerned of a lot of hail that's embedded within this system. But the good news is Prophetstown, you're about, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes away from being all clear and getting out of some of the heavier rain. Hopewell, probably starting to see some very heavy rain here and some hail as well. We've definitely been seeing a pretty significant hail core kind of hang out around Geneseo and Hopewell. There is just to the north of Hopewell is where we're seeing that probability. And also near Morrison, again, where that storm is tornado warned. And definitely seeing it near Bishop Hill and Galva. Like I said, Altona and Galva need to be on guard for the probability of seeing some hail because that hail tracker that kind of picks up on the size. We've been seeing this area near Oneida and Altona at times kind of get it into the green areas, so that could be some hail size of up to around 2 inches in diameter. But again, let's go back to the velocity signature and focus a little bit more on where we do see that couplet or that area of rotation that is currently tornado warned. Pretty easy to see. Again, greens is showing towards radar, red is showing away from radar. So right there is where we see that rotation. And that's what we're going to keep a close eye out on right now. Getting a report of nickel-sized hail in Galva or just outside of Galva. So that's no surprise there. So getting a lot of hail reports, but still our main concern is definitely going to be this brief tornado that could potentially be able to spin up here in areas of Whiteside and Carroll counties with this severe thunderstorm warning. There's a look at downtown Rock Falls. So this is going to slide just to the north of the area if this continues to make its progression off to the north and east. But I will say Sterling, Rock Falls area, you are included still in this tornado warning. It's definitely getting breezy. You can see how gusty it is up there. Starting to see some of those clouds push into place. You want to be on the lookout for that chance that we are starting to see a spin up definitely in your area, but also seeing some heavy rain, some lightning, and a lot of hail is being reported within this line of storms too. We'll continue to watch that closely. We have been getting some updates that sirens are going off in Galva. That's probably more for that hail threat. Sirens can be issued for that hail threat, but you're also in a severe thunderstorm with that tag of a tornado possible, and it's exactly the same situation that we were seeing up near Morrison. They were in a severe thunderstorm warning with that tag, that tornado possible, and then eventually did see some of that rotation tighten up a little bit, eventually getting that tornado warning issued. So we'll continue to keep a very close eye out on this line, but the good news is it's going to continue to push off to the north and east, and then eventually we're going to be able to call the all clear, and we will be done with the severe weather, it looks like. But for now, it's still continuing to make its progression. Like I said, our Iowa hometowns, you are in the all clear. Galesburg, you are all clear. Aledo, Monmouth, Oquawka, Burlington, all clear. Right now, we're kind of focusing our threats more so on the Illinois side, especially just to the east of the immediate Quad Cities. So we do have a pretty nice line going on of severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, a lot of them do have that tag tornado possible, so that's just something to keep in mind. Definitely why we are in this tornado watch for today, where we do have that threat for a couple of tornadoes to definitely pop up. Let's take a look at that tornado parameter, actually. It's going down, so that means, you know, especially on the Iowa side, that threat is going down. But where you see those yellows, and that's definitely those areas that we have been concerned of a couple of spin-ups, it is still hanging on, so we still have that threat for maybe a couple of tornadoes to pop up here and there, here in the next half hour or so. As these continue to push through. Here's a look at visible satellite, though. What's crazy is a lot of us did get some thunderstorms to push through, and maybe even getting so lucky now to see some sunshine here and there as we get into the rest of your evening hours. Yeah, we got another report from Galva of some nickel-sized hail. Right there, that was just another tornado warning issued. This one right here that was extended off to cover more areas that are just to the east of Sterling. But right now, Sterling, you're very close to starting to see it. And this right here doesn't surprise me. Sterling, you are cut out of the tornado warning. Again, this was making its progression off to the north and east. But let's throw on that signature. So Coletta, you are the ones that are going to be in this tornado warning. So if you are anywhere near this area, be sure that you are getting in your safe spot. We still do have a couplet, and it's getting very close to the town of Coletta too. So please make sure that you are in your safe place, or if you know anyone in that area, make sure that they're in their safe place. It's always good to communicate, make sure your friends and family are safe. But right here is that area of rotation, and it is pushing off to the north and east, so that's why we are going to be more concerned of that area. Coletta, you're going to be kind of in that line, and then kind of pushing just to the south of Milledgeville, looks like, as it makes its progression off to the north and east. We'll keep a close eye out on this. Haven't gotten any reports from any storm spotters or the National Weather Service that anything may have been confirmed, but again, definitely one of the more defined couplets that we have seen so far for this afternoon for these lines of storms. But we'll keep a close eye out on it. So let's take a look at the hail, see if anything has defined a little bit more. Yeah, the one near Oneida that is pushing into Altona and now getting into Galva. So we've been getting some reports of some larger hail in Galva, over a quarter sized, but you can see those areas. This is not going to be the most perfect parameter, let's say, of the hail size tracker, but definitely a good indicator of areas that we could see the hail. So Bishop Hill, Galva, just pushing through Altona too. You see those yellows, those oranges. That's anywhere from a quarter size to an inch, maybe even getting close to golf ball size, that 2-inch territory too, where we do see a couple of those greens kind of being picked up on that signature too. But for the most part, when it comes to the hail probability for areas north of I-80, right now it just looks like about 1/2 of an inch being picked up. Another report of hail being submitted from Galva. We're getting up to around an inch, and that was reported at 4:05, so just a couple of minutes ago. No surprise there, as that hail core is pretty strong, and Galva's kind of getting into the brunt of it. But within the next couple of minutes, Galva, you'll be in the all clear. Kewaunee, you're starting to see that. I wouldn't be surprised. You should be on guard for some gusty winds, some heavy rain, lightning, and maybe some hail too. Be on guard there. But again, these tags do have tornado possible, so that's definitely something we're going to watch closely, as some notches definitely can still be seen. We've kind of seen it brought in and tightened back up, but still are a little bit concerned of a threat, especially off to the north. Although this one, the latest scan, not looking as defined, which is some good news. Here's a look at the Rock Falls Airport. Yeah, starting to get some good rain there. Again, Sterling Rock Falls, I do want to note once again that you have been trimmed out of the tornado warning. It is just to the north of you. But we're going to continue to watch closely. Again, the latest velocity signature is showing still enough to bring in some rotation there. And again, this is near Coletta. Want to take guard. If you're anywhere near this area, please be sure you're in your safe place. That's going to be your lowest level of the building or home that you are in. If you don't have a basement, that'll be the most interior part of your home then, whether it be a closet or even a bathroom. Yeah, I know some bathrooms do have windows, but still, that bathtub could be a really safe option, as it puts even more security around you and the outside of your home. So we'll continue to watch this closely for a couple more scans. This tornado warning is expected to expire in a ½ hour. We'll watch it closely. They might trim it back a little bit sooner, but very soon to be pushed off to the east of Carroll and Whiteside counties, and then we'll be able to start to begin to call all clear for almost all of us. Still got to get a push through Bureau County. So Bureau County, kind of be on guard too. You will likely see some severe thunderstorms here, I would say, within the next ½ hour or so. You're still a little far away. Let's see, we're Princeton. Yeah, about a ½ hour away, it looks like, to Princeton, Illinois. So we'll keep a close eye out on that. But right now, those storms off to the south of I-80 is more so being warned for some gustier winds and definitely some hail. Again, we've been getting some pretty large hail reports from Orion and Geneseo, even Galva as well right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see a couple more reports, maybe towards the Kewaunee area even too. Let's take a look. Yeah, at that hail probability. So Kiwani probably going to start to see it. Again, this is kind of pushing just now to the east of Galva. But this is continuing to progress more so to the north and east, like I've been saying. So if we're watching this hail core right now, and it's following that trend of just tracking slightly north and east, then Bureau County, you want to be on guard again for the next 20 minutes to a half hour is when you could start to see, again, that line push in. And so far, the main threats that I see with that line is going to be some larger hail. But here is that hail size tracker that's along with that. We're still seeing some pretty significant or pretty good sized hail being picked up around 1 to 2 inches in diameter. And for perspective, that's about quarter sized to golf ball sized in diameter. Let's take a look off to the north after we've gotten a couple more scans on the velocity. All right, so it looks like that rotation is starting to broaden out a little bit more. Show this velocity. Still definitely there, but it's starting to broaden out, so that's some good news with it. But still, within the next couple of scans, we could see it strengthen up once again. But we'll watch it closely because we still have this tornado warning in effect for the next half hour. This line continuing to push through. Some damaging winds, some hail. Again, with a lot of these, almost everyone who is seeing these storms, you're at least within a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning. And it doesn't matter if it's just a severe thunderstorm warning. You definitely still want to take them seriously and get into your safe place, because we know how quickly a tornado warning can be issued in any of these. But so far, we can call the all clear for Galesburg, maybe Woodhull as well, immediate Quad Cities, Clinton, Savannah, Maquoketa, DeWitt, Muscatine, Wapello, the rest of us, basically in the all clear. And you might get a couple more showers. Again, we have maybe a little bit more shower activity starting to push through Maquoketa and Wheatland, Dixon. We'll watch these showers, but again, this is the main event right here that's starting to push into central or north central Illinois. And this is the line that's associated with that threat that we saw earlier or a couple hours ago when we were issued that severe or that tornado watch for us. But we're likely going to continue to see this trimmed back. I wouldn't be surprised if Clinton and Scott counties do get out of this tornado watch very soon. And then hopefully in the next hour or so, we can start to see a lot more of the threat get trimmed back a little bit more. Again, this is going to take a couple hours to progress across the state of Illinois and then make its way towards Chicago. But again, I know a lot of us probably have friends and family in Chicago, so you can definitely give them, hey, a heads up, you got some storms that are going to start to push into your area. Be sure that you are in a good place and a safe place easily for the next couple of hours, just in case they find themselves in any of these severe thunderstorm warnings or even tornado warnings that we've been seeing pop up. So far, I haven't gotten any more reports or incoming reports, at least from the National Weather Service. Of course, we always get a lot of people commenting and sending us messages on our Facebook page. I'll see if anyone has reached out to me in the last couple of minutes at least to send some reports. Getting some videos, yeah, of hail so far. So again, that's been the main report that we have been seeing. Actually, I can throw on some of those reports so we can see exactly where we've seen a lot of these. There was a funnel cloud that was actually spotted just south of Burlington when we were tracking in a tornado warning. But again, a lot of these reports have been coming in as hail from pea size to golf ball sized hail. So definitely is some pretty large hail out there being picked up. See if any more people have commented. And again, if you want to send us pictures, I would love to show some pictures going into some of our evening newscasts as well. You can send those to me through my Facebook page, Morgan Strackbein, WQAD, or you can go on and you can email news@WQAD.com, and we can also get pictures those ways as well. But yeah, getting a lot of reports of some hail so far really looks like. Oh, and somebody was telling me that Coletta is pronounced Colita, which now I know. Thank you so much. There's a look at Rock Falls Airport. Wow, really gusty winds out there. Actually getting a little bit breezier since the last time we checked in. But yeah, some pretty breezy winds out there. Some hail definitely going to be a concern for us as we head into the next several minutes. Hopefully within the next half hour to 45 minutes, we can call all clear for all our hometowns as this progresses more so towards north central Illinois. Of course, we still have this tornado warning. Let's take a look at the velocity signatures. Kind of really falling apart, it looks like. There's still a little bit of rotation. That's not to say that we could see something still spin up, but still seeing that velocity kind of more so not strengthen, at least over the past couple of scans, but still definitely some breezy winds. This is kind of picking up where we start to see some oranges on this map instead of those deeper reds. That for sure is showing some pretty strong winds, which, like we just saw downtown Sterling or downtown Rock Falls, and looking at the Rock Falls airport too, that's definitely showing some pretty gusty winds out there. Continuing to look at some of the other warnings that's going on, mainly that concern of some hail has been going on for the past couple of hours. Here's a look at that hail size. Kewaunee, we'll probably start to see some reports from people in Kewaunee. There we go, I just got one. We got a quarter-size hail in Kewaunee from Carrie Barker. Thank you for sending that report in. So we have quarter-size hail in Kewaunee, that's no surprise there. Still seeing some signatures picking up as well. So if this continues to strengthen, Neponset and Sheffield should probably be on guard to maybe see some hail too. Again, if this continues to strengthen, but let's take a look at that hail size probability. Yep, pushing into Neponset, eventually into Sheffield probably here in the next half, or I would say 10 to 15 minutes, honestly. But that probability of hail is in that purples, which is that extreme category. Also seeing some hail picking up just to the east of Tampico into Deer Grove. Could start to see some hail as well. And then where we were seeing that concern near Colita, where we did have that signature of some rotation, also seeing some probabilities of hail up there too. We'll continue to watch this, but right now the biggest threat that I'm suspected that we'll see some pretty good hail size reports is going to be for areas near Kewaunee, Neponset, pushing into Sheffield, and probably going to push into Princeton too if this continues to keep its energy, which it likely is as it does shift towards central Illinois. I'd say that you're definitely going to be seeing some hail very, very soon. So let's go back to some of our warnings. Okay, Kewaunee, you are almost about to be all clear. You're kind of on the backside, still seeing some, and there's a tornado warning being pushed just around Kewaunee. You're very close to being pushed out of that. But let's take a look at the velocity signature. Picking up, all right, so again, still seeing a little bit of rotation here and there. Again, not too tight being picked up, but still something to watch out for. So if you are in Kewaunee, you should already be in your safe place. But if you're not, please get in your safe place because you are in this. You'll likely get trimmed back here in the next 10 to 15 minutes, and you will be all clear, I promise. But still, you want to think safely here. Neponset, Sheffield, you want to be on guard here too very soon. As this tornado warning also is going to be issued too. And again, I want to say Sheffield because this tornado warning could be shoved a little bit farther to the north, depending on how this continues to progress to the north and east. But still, definitely seeing just enough to bring a concern for maybe a little bit of rotation. As well, maybe even more so to the south and east of Kewaunee. Let's throw on the watch and warning. Maybe starting to push just to the north of Stark County. We'll have to watch that closely. That could kind of make its way into Bureau County as well over the next half hour to 45 minutes. We'll watch that closely. Let's go take a look at the tornado warning has been expired. No surprise there, off to the north. that was near Colita, pushing just towards Buffalo, Illinois. So that has expired. So we are no longer of a concern for those hometowns, but the rest of us concerned of maybe a little bit of hail, but now we do have this new tornado warning that was issued. Again, this is for areas near Kewaunee. Hopefully you're already in your safe place, but this is going to continue to push through Neponsit, pushing to the edge of Wyanett. So if we do continue to see this kind of trend, maybe more so to the north and east, areas near Sheffield too, I would say, please be in your safe place. Even if you're in a severe thunderstorm warning, Anawan, Walnut, Princeton, you're on the edge of that severe thunderstorm warning with that tag of tornado possible. All of us should be at least in our safe place, because when we have that tag for a tornado possible, this is exactly what we could see happen. We get a tornado warning issued at some point. So we'll continue to keep a close eye out on this, but we're very, very close to being able to call all clear. Again, so I do want to show you again the signature. When we do see these notches, not only on the velocity signature, but on radar, you can see right here and right here where we start to get like maybe a little bit of imperfections on that line. That's where we could see maybe a little bit of a spin up occur. So let's go back to, or let me look at the National Weather Service to make sure that we're not getting any more reports. Kewaunee, okay, Kewaunee, we got a report of 1-inch sized hail. And Galva, we got another report from Galva of 1-inch sized hail as well. So no surprise there. Not only are we concerned of the possibility of a brief tornado for these areas like Neponsit and Sheffield, you also need to be concerned for some pretty large hail. So let's throw on our hail size tracker, up to 1/2 inch into 1 inch as well. So that's kind of staying pretty strong and together. But again, it's the probability of hail too that we're also seeing, hey, this area does have the possibility to at least produce some larger hail. You can see those purples. That's in that extreme category. So pushing into Neponsit. Again, Sheffield is starting to see it as well. So we're likely going to see some reports from areas there. Again, you can send us any reports as well on Facebook or to our email, news@wqad.com. Those are some good areas to send your reports. We'll continue to keep a close eye out on this area as we could potentially still continue to see some rotation. We'll get a couple more scans here. Throw on where that watch and warning, or where that warning is. So just to the south of Neponsit, that's kind of where we see a little bit more of that activity of rotation. I think Kewaunee, we can call you all clear. Yep, Kewaunee is in all clear. The immediate Kewaunee area, we should say, but you are officially out of that storm. Starting to see some activity lighten up. It might not be done with rain. I do want to point that out. We're getting a couple more showers to pop up here and there. However, not really going to be concerned for the threat of any more severe weather after this line pushes off to the east of our hometowns. This kind of takes away from all the energy that we have been seeing sit around for the afternoon. Again, we did get some sunshine. We had temperatures in the 70s. Hopefully you took advantage of it. I'm sure those temperatures actually have dropped quite a bit. But this tornado warning expected to last for the next 20 minutes. If it continues to keep its strength, like I've said, Wyanett, Princeton areas, please be on guard here. This is kind of your early heads up. Hopefully you can get to a safe place sooner rather than later. Make sure we're not getting any more reports. But we're keeping an eye out on things. Again, some hail and the possibility of tornadoes so far have been those primary threats. I wouldn't be surprised about some gusty winds either. I'm sure we're going to hear about some gustier winds going on later on after we start to see a lot more of those reports begin to be sent in to the National Weather Service at least. So this tornado warning, they are going to continue it, and it looks like, yeah, so areas like Wyanett and Princeton, please be on guard because you definitely could be areas seeing this push into your area very soon. Right here is where we're kind of seeing, definitely make a better circle than that. this area right here. Looks like that's going to be the most concern that we see of a little bit of rotation being picked up on radar. We have that yellow-red that is showing winds moving away from the radar. Green is towards, so that's where we can pick up, where we do see maybe a little bit of rotation. They're on that warning. And this is going to start to push into, or I want to note that it could be pushing towards Princeton if it keeps its shape at least and continues to keep its strength here within the next 20 minutes probably. That's probably going to be the track that it does take. So actually Princeton, you're about 15 minutes, Wyanett about 6 minutes. So those two areas definitely want to be on guard. These storms have been pushing more so to the north and east. So those are two areas that I definitely want to be on guard. But this is also pushing just to the south of Sheffield. Areas really within this severe thunderstorm warning, so Sheffield included, even though you're not in the tornado warning, still a good idea to be in your safe place because we've been getting some pretty large hail reports within this cell that's pushing through your hometowns right now. Throwing on that probability of hail, still remaining pretty strong. And again, it is near Sheffield. Neponset still in this area. Is this Buda or Buda, Illinois? If I'm pronouncing a town wrong, please let me know so I can learn. But we are going to continue to see this move off to the northeast. Again, pushing into Wyanett and Princeton very soon. Those are just some early heads up. Here's a look at some other areas. Sterling, you're all clear. Tampico, you're all clear. That line is starting to progress more so outside of our coverage area. Right now, really the main concern is going to be parts of Bureau County. Again, Sheffield to Princeton is really the towns that we're going to keep a close eye out on. Severe thunderstorm warning is now canceled for Sterling, or I should say Whiteside County. A wider view, a lot of us can call all clear. Galesburg, Geneseo, Clinton, Sterling, Savannah, almost all of us are basically all clear. Again, like I said, most of this is pushing off to the east now, and it's mainly the Bureau County area that we are going to continue to watch this closely, but once it does push off to the east, we'll start to say all clear. We'll be able to go on with the rest of our evening. And I do want to show the tornado watch. Yeah, this is issued until 8 p.m., but we've already seen the Storm Prediction Center, the National Weather Service, actually they're the ones who issue the watches. The National Weather Service kind of starting to chip off that tornado watch. So right now, a lot of our Iowa hometowns are in the clear. I would not be surprised if Clinton and Scott counties are also going to be next in kind of shoving that tornado watch a little more to the east. But again, it's going to take some time to get those storms to get over to Chicago, so this is why it's issued until 8 p.m. But again, I don't think we're going to be in a tornado risk until 8 p.m. Once we do see these storms officially push off to the east, we'll be able to start to see the all clear. If you see this white on radar, that's something I do need to take off, but it is indicating some hail, so let's throw on right there. So it is picking up some larger sized hail just to the south and east of Neponset. You can see that green shaded area. That's about 2 inches in diameter. So that's some pretty large hail. That's about golf ball size, which is what we've been seeing for areas like Geneseo. From Geneseo, okay, so we actually see a confirmed tornado was located near Buda, or 12 miles east of Kewanee, moving east at 35 miles per hour. So let's actually throw on that velocity signature, get you updated. So right here, let's take it a little bit closer, just to the east, likely where we're seeing that tornado that was observed. So this is right now confirmed that we actually have a tornado on the ground for parts of areas in Bureau County. So like I said, if you are in Princeton, please be on guard because this is the same storm that is heading right towards you. And if we do continue to see this couplet remains strong, then definitely going to start to see you actually included in some of those warnings and maybe even a tornado warning as well. But again, right now we're getting updates from the National Weather Service that this was observed and that a tornado was confirmed located near Buda, Illinois, or Buda. Buda, thank you to my producer. Buda, Illinois. And then again, this is moving just to the east. So right now, if we were looking a little bit closer, the tornado is moving east, but again, the storm is moving northeast. So if we were to throw a tracker on this, and if we were to include maybe the time that it could get to Princeton, you have about 12 minutes, Princeton. So if this continues to stay strengthened and of an area of concern, I wouldn't be surprised if Princeton is going to be included in a tornado warning if they do choose to reissue it here in the next 5 minutes or so. But again, this has been confirmed that we have a confirmed tornado that formed just near Buda, Illinois, or 12 miles east of Kewaunee. So if you have any friends and family in Bureau County near Buda, Illinois, please check in on them, make sure they're in their safe place as well. Of course, that's going to be the lowest level of your home or the interior-most part of your home if you do not have a basement. Of course, a basement going to be the best bet. If not, bathroom or an interior closet going to be a good area too. But we still have this couplet that's still remaining to find. Still getting a couple more scans, and we'll continue to watch it for a couple more scans. But let's get that warning up. I don't know why that is staying on the graphic. We're just going to ignore that 15 seconds, 12 miles northeast right now. But we're going to continue to keep a close eye out on it. So again, Wyanett should also be on guard. You're also within the outline of this tornado warning. And again, this tornado has been confirmed from likely a storm spotter. So now just pushing to the east of Buda. So it could be sliding just to the south, maybe even pushing towards Wyanett. So if you are in this area, please make sure you are getting to your safe place right now if you are not already in your safe place. And again, it's probably moving just to the east, maybe slightly to the northeast. So again, still want to be on guard for some of those areas as we continue to see this progress for the next several scans. That's probably the track that we're going to see it take. Okay, so we're getting in updates to the tornado watch. Like I said, wouldn't be surprised if we do see Clinton and Scott County now are out of the tornado watch. Joe Daviess County and Carroll County, Mercer and Rock Island, all out of the tornado watch. You are all clear. So immediate Quad Cities. And again, like I said, right now, the only area that I'm concerned of for some of our viewers, or at least in our viewing area, is in Bureau County right now. And it's with this tornado warning that has been, that was observed. They did continue the warning. They have taken the observed tag off, so maybe it has lifted off the ground, but still we're going to act like a tornado is on the ground right now as we continue to track it. Make sure people are in their safe place, especially if you're near Wyanett. That's going to be the area of rotation that we're a little bit more concerned about. But let's take a look at all areas just to make sure we don't have a couple more concerns. Maybe along the leading edge down to the south of Neponset, but again, this area is my most concern of seeing that couplet. So again, just to the east of Buda is where we are seeing that more defined rotation, and it's mainly moving off to the east, slightly to the northeast. So again, Princeton, like we said, her early heads up to you to bring in or to get to your safe place. Again, it is moving just slightly to the northeast. So with this latest scan, we're seeing that couplet kind of move a lot closer to Wyanett. So in Wyanett, please make sure everyone is in their safe place right now. And if you know if anyone in this area, please check in on them too. Family members and friends, make sure that they're in their safe place too, or give them a heads up. Same with areas, people in Princeton. If you know that maybe someone doesn't know what's going on, if they don't know that they have severe weather heading their way, a good idea to check in on with them too to make sure that they're safe. Checking on family members and friends, always a good idea. Neponset, Bureau County, we're getting some hail reports of around 1 inch in diameter, so that's quarter sized. Let's take a look at the hail tracker right now, which is no surprise. They're still getting that pretty strong hail core to push through. Hail size or hail probability, okay. So now we're starting to see this again, where we see that stronger area of rotation just to the east of Buda and pushing into Wyanett. It's also where we're going to see that probability of hail a little higher. It's also going to likely push towards Princeton, Illinois. So hail and a possibility of a tornado right now are going to be those primary threats that we see with this line of storms continuing to progress through. Let's take a look, because again, I think this is the only concern for our hometowns at least. A lot of this activity pushing towards Peoria now to the south and off to the north now going into the Rockford area too. So really the rest of us are in all clear. Some good news there, and I'm not suspecting any more storms or any more severe weather for the rest of the evening. So we're likely going to see that tornado watch continue to get chipped back a little bit more, especially over the next couple of hours as it makes its progression across northern Illinois. But still, we are concerned of that tornado warning that is pushing more towards Wyanett right now. Let's actually get the velocity signature up, and after there's been a couple more scans, and still pretty strong, still a little more defined. We'll continue to watch it for a couple more scans to see if we continue to see that more strength. But as always, we want to get your reports or even some pictures that we could share throughout some of our evening newscasts as well. We would love to see them if you could send them our way. Of course, you can do that using our Facebook pages. You can go to my Facebook page, Morgan Strackbein WQAD, or even the WQAD Facebook page. A lot of people will be monitoring that. Yeah, still getting some more hail reports of up to 1 to 2 inches with the storm that's been pushing through, you know, like areas like Orion and Geneseo and Neponset and Galva, all those areas. We're still getting a lot of incoming hail reports. Okay, so we've gotten a couple more updates on the velocity signature. So far, the good news is I haven't seen it really strengthen, but it's still definitely holding on. So still areas like Princeton, I want you to be on guard. We could see this tornado warning get extended your way, maybe even just slightly to the north and east, heading more towards Dover. But we'll continue to watch this for a couple more minutes. It is expected to expire here in about 7 minutes. But we'll stay on with you until that does expire and that the threat is no longer a concern. The rest of us, though, if you are in Bureau County, just be on the lookout for some heavier rains, maybe some damaging winds, some frequent hail, or frequent lightning, and maybe some hail as well. Definitely going to be a concern here. With this storm especially pushing through Bureau County, we've definitely been getting some pretty impressive reports there. So let's get another look at the velocity. Of course, one of our main concerns is going to be that threat for the possibility of a tornado. And right now, still, again, seeing a lot of rotation near Wyanett right now. And I'm wondering if we'll get any more updates to that tornado warning, if they're going to extend it at all from the National Weather Service pushing towards, again, Princeton. Been calling you guys out for quite a few minutes, so hopefully you are in your safe place. Getting some more hail reports from the National Weather Service up to a $50 size and golf ball sized hail coming in from parts of Henry County, Kewaunee, and Orion. So again, if you have any pictures from hail, I definitely want to share them throughout the evening newscast. Please feel free to send them our way. We'd be happy to share those pictures for you. But again, a lot of the storm reports that we have been seeing and receiving from the National Weather Service have come in the form of mainly hail. Again, we've gotten one observed tornado, but of course that's something that is going to be confirmed after the fact. There would have to be some surveys done, but that's something we'll continue to keep a close eye out on. So far, that tornado potential was spotted just to the east of Buda, pushing towards Wyanett. And still, we do have a little bit of rotation being picked up on the map. I want to point you out towards Princeton. Again, this one's not really an area that I'm concerned about. It's the area that is just to the north and east of Wyanett that maybe still is implementing that this tornado warning is in place. We'll continue to watch it closely, but we are going to keep a close eye out on it. This tornado warning should expire here in the next 5 minutes. If it does, we'll let you go on your way, and then we'll be able to start this 5 p.m. newscast very soon. But I still want to continue to watch that threat just in case if there is still any more of a concern, especially once we do see that tornado warning maybe expire here in the next couple of minutes. So here is a current look at radar. Again, we'll watch that closely. Let's look at hail size. That's still a pretty significant threat when it does come to heading towards Princeton especially. There's that hail core. You can see those purples pushing around that Princeton area. Could definitely see some hail reports get up to that 1 to 2 inch territory. And that will eventually make its way off to Dover, Illinois. We'll watch that one closely too, all associated with those severe thunderstorm warnings. And again, the only tornado warning that is living on in this line is for that observed tornado threat that we were getting reports of near Buda to Wyanett. Areas like Neponset, you're still technically included, but that tornado warning likely expired and you're no longer in a threat. Areas like areas just to the south of Wyanett, where you see some of the lighter rain that is occurring, that also is going to be an area that we really don't see too much of a concern as of right now for some of those stronger storms. But that rotation definitely broadening out a little bit. Still seeing a lot of pretty gusty winds that it's about to make its way into the Princeton area. Hopefully you are in your safe place. Hopefully you have checked it. If you do know anyone in the Princeton area, check in on them, give them that heads up as well. Even starting to see some severe thunderstorm warnings pushing into the Bureau area with some pretty high winds too. Actually, haven't seen too much in terms of getting up to the territory of 70-mile-per-hour winds, but we're now kind of starting to see the threat. So that's kind of what we're seeing right now, where you see these yellows on the map starting to push its way into Princeton, Illinois. That's where we could see some higher winds for sure. Let's take a look at some of those storm reports real quick that we've been getting in, mainly in the form of hail across the area, really. So a lot of hail reports, again, a lot of 1 to 2 inches in diameter, pushing all the way from Altona to Galva to Kewaunee to Neponset, and then another good couplet near Orion and Geneseo areas. This area is still pushing in, or we're still of concern near Princeton, but we'll see how, or they've extended this tornado warning until 5:15, although the edge of the other one is until 4:45. So I'm curious if they're going to end up extending it or if they're just going to end up letting it expire on its own, but we'll continue to watch it closely. We still have some rotation going on here and there, but again, I'm wondering if these gustier winds are going to kind of take over and remove a lot of that rotation, especially near Princeton. But still, I want Princeton to be on guard. You do have some pretty gusty winds heading your way and some hail. Okay, there we go. We did get at least one of those warnings to expire. Not so sure where the other warning is. Okay, so now that we have gotten that other warning to expire, we are going to go ahead. We'll watch this closely. Of course, we'll continue to bring you updates, but of course, going to get ready for the 5 o'clock news. And of course, we'll continue to bring you updates, and especially as we start to get in some more reports. So we'll see you here in a couple of minutes.